Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm taking you through a journey of building a legacy poultry farm in Cameroon, West Africa. I promised to give you updates on how we're going to be doing this project from scratch up until completion. And today I want to give you an update on how the building project has been so far. Also, there are several developments that have come up that I'll also be updating you on them. Okay, before we continue, kindly hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time I give you an update on the progress of this journey. Okay, so like I told you the last time, we are building a sustainable legacy poultry farm in West Africa, Cameroon, and I'm going to be bringing you guys along because we're building this, remember, from scratch. Last time, remember I told you we're cleaning the land and we were preparing the land for a foundation dig. We have been able to dig 3 sides of the foundation, and the third side is currently being dug. And while that part is going on, we also had to retrace. Like I was talking to the bricklayer, and he mentioned that we were going to start pre-positioning the pillars that was going to carry the roof. He's making sure that the pillars are well positioned and are deep enough in the foundation to support the entire building. And of course, this building is a little bit costly as compared to other poultry farms because we're starting in the middle of nowhere. We're miles away from the city. It's a virgin land we're developing, and we have to dig the foundation as deep enough to be able to initially start seeing how our biosecurity in terms of predators that might come into the farm, moles that might be digging into the foundation to get into our poultry. We want to be able to stop all of that just by having a very solid foundation to start with. But you don't have to dig this deep. You don't have to have the same foundation we have if you're starting your own farm. We're doing this because we have the resources and we want to make sure whatever building we're putting in place, it's long lasting and it's going to serve us for a long time. Building is 60 meters by 13, almost 65 meters by 13, which means that it's going to be a very heavy roof given the amount of wood that's going to be on top of this building. So we want to be sure that the foundation is strong enough to support that. We also prepared a farmhouse. This place is in the middle of nowhere. Of course, there are no buildings. This is the first building in this area, and there's almost the workers, the laborers, and everyone you see here, they need a place to stay. So guess what? They built themselves. We provided the resources, and then they built themselves a farmhouse. They're trying to make sure it's safe enough for them to stay without anything invading, maybe at night, maybe crawling animals and stuff like that. So they're trying to make sure everywhere is sealed and well secured for them to be able to sleep peacefully at night, and also to make sure they have enough rest after a difficult day. Actually, the work you see them doing here it's quite demanding in terms of manual labor. So we have to make sure that they're comfortable enough when they go back to rest, and they should be able to re-energize and come back the next day and continue to work. So we made sure that we had this farmhouse built from scratch for them. It's actually made out of some of the wood that the guys are getting from this area. So if you go down this way, you will see a lot of wood processing going on, and we're using some of that wood. We use some of that wood to get this house. If you come closer this way, you're going to see that we are already looking at sinking. We already sank a well. It's about 10 meters, and we hit the water table, and there's enough water already flowing into the well. It's here for the well, by the way, and go get stuff. So what do we want to get? We want to get an electric pump. We want to get an electric pump. That electric pump will be lowered into this well after it has been cleaned. It will be lowered into the well and connected with pipes to our water tank, and that electric pump will be powered by a solar panel to be able to pump water into our water reservoir, which will be somewhere around which will be close to the building, but a little bit, we're going to build a reservoir, a water reservoir, just at the corner of our building there, to make sure we have enough water for the birds. Water is very essential in poultry farming. Birds will be consuming close to 5,000 liters of water a day, given the number of birds that we want to be starting with. So we're looking at starting with 2,500 broilers. Broilers was our choice to start with. Why? Because broilers, we could easily, start making money out of the farm if we start with broilers, which means that in 6 weeks, that's 45 days, we can start marketing birds from this farm. So that's the reason why we went with broilers. You could also go with layers, but rest assured, layers is going to take a while before you start getting money out of your farm. Again, you need to be able to invest in layers for about 6 months before you start having the first egg, and subsequently it's from the 6th month when you go with layers to be able to start making money from the farm. But because we're investing a lot and we want to be sure that we have a ready market when this farm starts scaling, broilers are a little bit cheaper to start with in terms of medication and vaccines. They don't need as much vaccines as layers. If we were to go with layers, there's a lot of vaccines that we're going to be administering. We want to be able to see and test that we have a ready market for this farm in this area. We also started with broilers because broilers gives us an opportunity to test our biosecurity without risking too much capital. Again, when you go for layers, you're going to be investing capital for about 6 months, and you don't want to be risking 6 months of capital without any guarantee of a return on investment. So it's better we go in, we fail quickly, learn what we have to learn. Starting on a virgin land, we literally started from scratch, cutting down the shrubs, trying to remove the stumps, remove the trees that are here, clear the area, make sure the area is clean and safe, and make sure we are able to instill biosecurity as much as possible. Biosecurity is maybe 70% of the success of any farm. If you fail with biosecurity, that's where you start having diseases in your farm. That's where birds starts dying, and it might run you to the ground. You might run out of business. So that's why, again, we started with the broiler. Going back to construction, you see, we will be putting in place the foundation in less than a week, and as soon as we're done with the foundation, we will start seeing how to raise the pillars, to start seeing how we want to start putting the roof in place. Also, the Christmas holiday is coming. We want to be sure that this structure gets to an optimal level before the Christmas holiday. So when the guys come back after the Christmas holiday, we can quickly complete the building, prepare the building, and get ready to receive our day-old chicks in the farm. So that's our objective. Again, our objective is to start production by mid-January, and hopefully we're going to hit that target. Apart from that, remember, feeding is one of those areas in poultry farming where a majority of your investment is going to go into. Feeding, the amount you spend in feeding your birds is directly proportional to the cost at which you will want to sell those birds. So if you want to compete in the market space, you want to be very ready, in terms of feeding. And when it comes to feeding birds, we have a major ingredient in your feed, which is corn. Corn consists of almost 70 to 75% of the feed that we give these birds. So the price of corn in the market will directly affect the price of the feed. And we plan to produce our own feed from scratch from day one as we receive our day old. We want to produce, the starter feed. We want to produce also the grower, and we want to produce the fattening feed. So what we need now is make sure that we are ready when the time comes that we have the resources and the materials to produce that feed. And knowing that corn is going to be about 70% of, you know, the consistency of that feed, we are already, you know, talking with the neighboring farmers around this area, those of them that had farmed corn before, and we're trying to buy corn from them at the farm price on, and also before the price, you know, skyrockets from January, because January is going to be in season and the price of corn is just going to go up from there. So we are already sourcing for corn. We got about 40 bags of corn. Remember, a bag is about 100 kilograms, and we are looking at producing about 10 tons of feed in general. So we got about 40 bags of corn. We're still looking at buying about 40 more. We want to make sure there's enough corn, and if possible, we want to have some of the corn. We want to store the corn since it's out of season and the price is very moderate now. We want to buy that corn right now and preserve it. And guys, those of you aspiring farmers, those of you who are looking forward to starting your own poultry farm, and you want to, you know, minimize costs in terms of feeding, you might want to start buying corn out of season. The idea is buy corn when it's cheap, store the corn, and use that corn to feed your birds all season. That way you are able to maintain an optimum price on your birds, because if the price of corn goes up, you will be forced as a farmer to start increasing the price at which you sell your birds. Why? Because the price of corn goes up means the price of feed is going to go up. So in order to maintain a fairly, you know, stable price in the market space, you might want to store as much corn as possible, so that when it's out of season, or when it's time for you to prepare or prepare or process feed for your birds, you know, you are not buying a corn very expensive, and hence you will not also be, you know, inflating the prices of your birds. That said, this is a little bit of the snippet that we want to give you. Remember, I've given you a hint of the kind of bird that we'll be using to start the farm, which are broilers. We'll rather go with broilers, and subsequently we might, when we start scaling, yes, we will definitely get into layers and all that good stuff. But for now, we're going to be starting with broilers. And remember, I'm going to walk you through every step of the way until we get to production, until we get to marketing. I'm going to show you everything so that any aspiring farmer can just watch these videos and also get inspired. Hit that subscribe button, follow me guys. I'm going to constantly update you. I'm going to show you the perks. I'm going to show you the pros and the cons of a poultry farm. I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to be transparent with whatever is happening in the farm, so that way it can inspire farmers out there, it can inspire people out there, you know, to also go out and take the challenge and to go out and be bold enough, you know, to start their own farms.